It's Clark time. Clark is a typical KoF grappler, but he also has an extremely unique grab, which slightly changes how you need to defend against him. And newer players will not know how to do this. So Clark tends to do very, very well at the low level, even at the intermediate level, before people actually know how to deal with it. And then once you get into higher levels, he just turns into a normal character again. So let's start with his normals. First you have 5A. This move is your furthest range light cancelable normal. So you do have a 3-hit confirm at point blank range like this. However, if they are crouching and not in hit stun, this will just whiff. If they do not block, then it'll still hit. If you're a little further out, you'll need to go straight into your crouch A instead and cancel from there. Or if you want a little bit more damage for a little bit less range, you can also do stand light kick, which is also cancelable. Crouching light kick is your only non-cancelable light normal, but it is also your only chainable light normal. I cannot chain out of anything else. However, if I start with crouching light kick, I can chain into any of my 4 light normals, including itself. And so the only 3 strings you'll be using with him off of your lights will be that as your basic string, this for a little bit more damage, or if you're point blank range, you need 3 hits, you can do that as well. Far heavy punch will have the greatest range of your normals, but it whiffs versus crouching opponents, so use it sparingly. Close heavy punch hits twice. Its main use is in HD combos, so that you have time to input a full super instantly. Like that. Now he does have more damaging options, but that's a little bit harder. The first hit is fully cancelable and chainable on its own, but the second hit is not cancelable or chainable outside of HD mode. And so that only leaves close heavy kick, which is just a normal that you would use at close range for combos. You chain it into down forward light punch. And your 3 main pokes, which are crouching heavy punch, standing heavy kick, and crouching heavy kick. Standing heavy kick has the most range of these, but it's not cancelable. Crouching heavy punch has the next highest range of the 3, and it is cancelable. Crouch heavy kick has like a pixel less range than crouch heavy punch. It is still chainable and cancelable, but it knocks the opponent down. And Clark does not have any moves that can connect here during a no juggle state. Speaking of command normals, he has down forward light punch, which is kind of useless outside of combos. It looks like it might be a good anti-air, and it can kind of anti-air, but if you look at this carefully, the way this game handles your command normal inputs is not very good. So if you're just standing around and you want to anti-air with down forward light punch, you're not going to be able to do it. You got to be holding the direction first and then press the button. Plus there is a built-in delay on your normals anyway, so anti-airing with this, especially on reaction, is not feasible. That being said, you can use it in combos like this from your close heavy normals. The main problem with that now is you don't have a charge to work with. You really want to use your charge move for combos most of the time, so you only really see it used in HD combos. His other command normal is this thing. It doesn't actually hit the opponent, but it does hop forward. And you can cancel into it from various things, and this is useful because of your grab. You can try to fake people out like that. But here's the problem. No matter what you cancel into it, you're going to be minus after the dash. Even if I do something like this, that's still minus a bunch. Best case scenario is they block your CD. If they block your CD and you do the forward dash, you are -1. So characters with a 1-frame command grab will get a guaranteed punish, such as Clark himself. But if the opponent does not perform a 1-frame command grab, then you can start doing mix-ups from here. And with Clark, that includes this guy, which I'll talk about that later. Another interesting fact about standing CD is that it will actually go over lows while he's off the ground like that. So if your opponent likes to mash 2B, or 2D or something like that, you can just press CD and it'll go right over it. Now let's talk about your jumping normals. You have Jumping Light Punch. This is actually a very good move. It is active for a long time, and it hits at a very steep downward angle very quickly. So this is sort of like if you're just jumping in and you want to hit something, you can do that. Now if you hit it too early, it'll whiff versus crushing characters, but if you delay it just a tiny bit, it'll hit them, and you still get your full combo from crouch light kick. Jumping B hits more of a horizontal angle, and so is more used as an air-to-air. Jumping Heavy Punch is your primary cross-up move, so if you want to jump over the opponent's head, you press Heavy Punch. However, the startup on this guy is very slow, so really only use it for cross-ups. Then Jumping Heavy Kick has an upward hitbox, so it cannot hit crouchers. It can be used as an air-to-air, but I would prefer this most of the time. So you're really only going to see Heavy Kick for its use in combos. Clark also has an air grab, which is also used in combos, but can also be used as an air-to-air if you're super close to the opponent. If I'm too far away, I'm not going to get the throw. If I'm a little bit closer, then I'll grab him right out of the air. But something you gotta learn about KoF is your anti-airs don't need to be from the ground and on reaction. Just simply doing this is enough to anti-air most of the time. So just being unpredictable with how you move and how you jump and how you cover the airspace with your various jumping normals is going to be enough to dissuade the opponent from just jumping straight at you like that. And now we can talk about his special moves. The first of them being the Backbreaker. So all three of these versions are distinct. He has half circle forward light kick, which is where he raises his arms like this, and then he grabs. And this move has armor on its startup. So if I wake up with the light Backbreaker, I'll armor through their attacks and then grab them. And this is the reason why Clark is quite dominant at low levels of play, is because people can't react to this. However, at higher levels of play, people are going to be able to react and jump out of the Backbreaker, the light Backbreaker, even if you manage to armor through one, maybe even two of their attacks. That being said, this does change the dynamic of the mix-up game a little bit, even at the high level, for attacks that aren't fast enough for you to recover and jump after them. For example, if they block a jump CD and I run at them, normally the mix-up goes like this. I can strike them quickly with a frame trap, or I can delay my mix-up, and now if I delay the mix-up, I can choose between a strike or a throw. I cannot throw them earlier as a frame trap, like a tick throw, as you would in Street Fighter, because they are invincible to throws for several frames after leaving block stun. And so what that means for most characters is that if you just mash on a button that's like 4, 5, 6, 7, even 8 frames startup, then you can't be thrown anymore, because they have to delay their throw by a certain amount of time, and if they delay their throw by a certain amount of time, then your attack will hit them before their throw comes out. But if Clark does the armor grab, then he's armored for that period, and just simply attacking him during the armored startup is not enough, and then the throw will come out on a delay after the armor is finished and grab you after your throw invincibility has run out. So if you're waking up and you're mashing a close heavy normal, for example, then maybe he'll armor through it and punish the recovery of the heavy normal. So against Clark, you need to wake up with a light normal, not a heavy normal, so that you can get your light normal armored and then still have time to react and jump out of the light grab and punish him. The heavy and the EX grabs are one frame grabs. So these are your typical grappler grabs for other KoF grapplers. And you can combo into them in various ways. And the EX one has a little bit more range and does a little bit more damage. And all three versions have a follow-up where you input core circle forward and punch for even more damage. And as far as I know, there's no reason not to do the follow-up. It's still a hard knockdown, you still get a safe jump, whatever you want. So always do the follow-up to all three versions. The EX follow-up is different and that it can be super canceled for a combo. So if you just have 2 or 3 power and 1 drive laying around, you might consider doing an EX grab and canceling it to a super. That's a lot of damage to lose off of a command grab. Next we have mash punch. So if you press 4 punch buttons in a row quickly enough, you'll get this mash move. This is mostly used in combos. It's -3 on block, and in the corner you get a juggle after it. Like that. The EX version keeps the opponent on the ground and is actually +1, maybe +2, I'm not sure. But if it's at least +1, that means you can combo into your command grab like that. It is also 0 on block, which is quite good. The problem with that is it costs a bar, and generally I don't think being 0 on block is worth 1 bar, even with a character like Clark who has really good command grabs. So just for me personally, I would save my meter on one of these and just spend it all at once. Next we have the Sonic Boom motion, which is the machine gun upper. Charge back, then press forward and punch. This is a combo only tool for the most part. I'll talk about the EX version in a second. All versions are very unsafe on block, but they launch the opponent for a juggle of some kind. The light version causes a half juggle, so I can get 2 of them, but I'm not going to be able to time a 3rd one. It's just not possible. And so this is how you will end, optimally, all of your combos will be this, 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 which is the light version of the machine gun, light machine gun again, and then jump heavy kick. Although keep in mind your hop heavy kick does 2 points less damage than your jump heavy kick. So if you want more damage, you will do a full jump heavy kick, and if you want a little less damage but you recover faster for a better mix-up, you do the hop heavy kick. The heavy version is slower, so it doesn't combo from lights, but it will combo from heavies. And it launches them a little bit lower, but you get a full juggle off of it. So you can use the heavy version in certain cases to extend your combo sequences. But I'll go more in depth over combos when I get there. The EX version has the speed of the light version and juggles higher than either version, and is still a full juggle, and it's invincible on startup, and it's projectile invincible while active. So this move is kind of got a lot going for it, but it's still unsafe on block, so at the end of the day, you really shouldn't be using it outside of combos. But if you land a hit in the corner and all you want to spend is like just 1 power, you would go, instead of going into the light machine gun like that, you would go to the EX one. Additionally, if the opponent throws a projectile from about here and you happen to have a back charge, let it rip and you might catch them off guard. And that's all of his special moves. Let's talk about his super. He only has 1 super plus a Neomax, which is double half circle back, and then punch is your yet another 1 frame command grab, but this one does a lot of damage. It actually does the same damage as your EX grab, but the way it deals with combo scaling makes it a lot better to use in combos. And you can also do the level 2 version, which does even more damage. Your Neomax is the same motion, but with 2 kicks instead of punches. And this one's not 1 frame, and it's not a grab, so you don't really see it used outside of combos. That being said, it does 450 damage, which is a lot of damage. It is a Neomax after all, and so you'll be ending most, if not all, of your HD combos with your Neomax. And now we can start talking about combos. So your basic combo, if you just land any hit that works anywhere, doesn't matter what the situation is you want to have a charge, and you want to go into the light machine gun. Light machine gun again, jump heavy kick, just like I said earlier. If you don't have a charge, or if you want to swap sides, you can also go for the heavy grab, do the follow-up, and do a safe jump like that. There's also a pretty optimal combo in the corner. If you land a heavy, you can go into the heavy machine gun blow. Machine gun blow? Apparently it's called Gatling Attack, not Machine Gun, but whatever. But if you have charge off of a heavy normal, like say you're punishing something on block in the opponent's corner, you can do heavy Gatling into the mash punch move, into light Gatling, into jump heavy kick, which looks like this. And don't forget about the button hold trick. The button hold trick still works even on the mash move. You just have to do 1, 2, 3 and then button hold the fourth one. If you want to spend some of your power meter, you can go into the EX version instead. And this is when your combos are going to start to get a little bit different. You'll need to focus really hard on your timing, because if you just land the light machine or the light Gatling on the ground, you get 2 of them. And so that's your goal, is to have the opponent still in the air, but low enough to the ground to where you can get the double light Gatling to finish your combo. And so that would look like this. See there, I went a little bit too early on the light machine gun, so the second, Gatling did not connect. And you can actually react, say, I think they're a little bit too high, I'm not going to be able to get a second Gatling, and just go for the jump heavy kick early. But optimally, you would get both light machine gun or Gatlings for maximum damage. If you want to spend a drive meter, you can do this combo. So this is light Gatling into the mash punch move. You're going to get 1 hit of the mash punch move and drive cancel that into the heavy Gatling again, and then the same ender as before. Bam. Now, if you're in the corner, this is not going to work because your Gatling or your Vulcan Punch mash move is going to whiff. So what you got to do is you got to do something even better, which is light, and now you're going to try to drive cancel the light Gatling into heavy Gatling, but that doesn't work by default. You cannot cancel the light version of a special move into a heavy version of the same special move, or vice versa. You can cancel the light or the heavy into the EX, but you cannot cancel between the 2 mirrorless versions. But using the Vulcan Punch, there is a certain mechanic that you can take advantage of, and that is mash moves have increased cancel ability in this game. I believe it's every mash move. I know it works with Billy, and I also know it works with Clark. So any normal that is usually not cancelable can be canceled into the Vulcan Punch. So the second hit of Close Heavy Punch, I can't grab him, but I can do the mash move after the second hit of Close Heavy Punch. I can also do something like Far Heavy Punch, which is not cancelable. That also cancels. Far Heavy Kick. That also cancels. And that's one of the unique properties of mash moves. The other unique property is that you can Kara cancel them into your other special moves for free. And so what you can do is you can do the light Gatling, drive cancel into the Vulcan Punch, and then Kara cancel that into the heavy Gatling for free. And so the way you would input this is you would input light Gatling like normal, but then on the final hit of the light Gatling, you would go 1, 2, 3, and then forward +4. So you would do like that. And so the full combo in the corner is very similar to the mid-string combo, but you're going to do 2 light Gatlings at the beginning. And then drive cancel the second light Gatling into the Vulcan Punch, and then Kara cancel that into the heavy Gatling by inputting 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. And then from there, it's exactly the same as the mid-string combo, so the whole thing would look like this. Bam! Once you have 2 power, you can start considering going into the EX grab. Even on regular hits like this, you can still consider canceling this and then doing the super cancel after. That'll take 1 drive and at least 2 power to start doing this. Another thing that you can consider using your power on is just going straight into super, which is nice because you don't need charge, but it's a little bit harder because you gotta do the double half circles. So the whole thing will look something like this. You'll have to practice that for a long time. It's pretty difficult. Gotta have fast hands, but it is possible. And now, usually I wouldn't recommend spending 2 drive with Clark, but if you want to spend 2 drive, you can go into HD. And then from HD, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do that combo. And then cancel it into your Neomax. And for just 3 bars, I am getting 852 damage. That's a lot of damage. But again, you have to have fast fingers. If you want to do the easy version, it does exist. You use the EX command grab instead of the super, but now you're losing out on over 100 points of damage, so I would not typically recommend doing the easy version if you want to do a 3-bar HD combo. If you want to do a 4-bar HD combo, you would put in a level 2 super, or you would use an EX grab plus a level 1 super for the easy version. And in this case, the difference between the easy and the hard versions is a little bit smaller. The hard version deals just over 900 in this case, 959 in the easy version. Does just about 50 points less damage, maybe 40 points less damage. So you're not losing a huge chunk of damage like you would on the 3-bar version. The problem with that is most people play Clark on point, and if you play Clark on point, you can't have more than 3 power. So yeah, if you're having trouble doing the harder combo, then maybe you should play Clark in the middle, so that you have more opportunities to do the 4-bar HD combo instead of the 3-bar HD combo, so that you're getting less damage reduction from doing the easy version. And finally, if you want to spend all 5, then you just combine all that together and you do all of it, like this. Do the EX grab, do the level 2, into the Neomax. And that, if you start with a jump in, deals 1000 damage. And that, my friends, is the entirety of Clark still. So overall, Clark ends up playing as a slightly slower than average character, but with slightly longer range heavy buttons than other characters, as well as a slightly scarier mix-up game than other characters, especially once he has the meter to do this. That's about the point when you should start being scared of this character.